Bonjour tout le monde, c'est moi Monsieur Springer avec une vidéo annonce aujourd'hui pour vous afin que vous puissiez me voir et m'entendre. J'espère que vous allez tous bien. Nous avons complété les unités 1 et 2. C'est super la classe. En fait, ça c'est beaucoup d'efforts chez vous. Vous avez déjà beaucoup appris et beaucoup amélioré votre français. Votre compréhension, français écrit, français parlé, et la classe fait un excellent travail maintenant. I just wanted to give you a few tips as you head into Unit 3 here. I'm going to speak in English just to be real clear on some things. First of all, as I've mentioned before, in Units 1 and 2, I really tried to hold to the point of allowing you to try certain aspects of the course out, because it's a challenging course. It's like a college level course. In your writing and speaking work, I've been scoring you according to a rubric, but up until now I've just been giving you 100% for your effort. Starting in Unité 3, I will be actually grading you according to the rubric. So with this first lesson, lesson 7, it's pretty simple. There are only 2, maybe 3 actually, teacher graded activities. And I'll walk through them in a minute. But then for lessons 8 and 9, that's getting into the free response activities, right? Like the conversation and the email reply. And I'll go through how I'll grade those later at a different announcement when we get to those weeks. But also I wanted to let you know that you're going to be introduced to, for the first time, the 2 other free response activities in this unit. Again, those will come in other weeks, but they are the persuasive essay and the cultural comparison. After that, you'll know everything basically that is on the AP exam in terms of format. But for now, I just wanted to point out a couple of things. Obviously, we're talking about les outils de communication, a whole new theme this unit, which is pretty cool stuff here. When it comes to the teacher graded items, just a couple of tips here that I wanted to point out. Need to make sure I go to the right one. So with jour 4, we've got this test rédaction, and I just want to remind you that rédaction, think of that as kind of like an essay for the most part. You should always have an introduction, body, and a conclusion. You're not just answering questions. Always think in terms of your audience, okay? You want to present as if you were writing this for a newspaper or something published, right? Your audience is a wider public than just your teacher or somebody that knows these questions that are your prompts. Pretend that the audience does not know the prompts at all. So write it in such a way that you are introducing the topic before going into it. Okay? Always intro, body, conclusion. It can take as long as you need on une rédaction. Okay? I will use the scoring guide that's on there, and I think you can see it as I scroll down. Oh, it's actually not on here, but you've seen it other places in the course. For jour 5, there's this little test. This is just les expressions idiomatiques. This is a little different than une rédaction. You're going to be learning about some expressions idiomatiques, which is a really, really valuable skill for you to continue to grow and expand your vocabulary base. And as you learn those, you use them as much as you can on the free response activities that you're working on, because it helps you reinforce what you're learning. I've got no real specific way that I'm grading this assignment, so long as you just do it. Okay, if you do it with effort, follow the directions, and actually use the expressions properly, you're probably going to get 100%. If there's a lot of grammar errors and stuff like that, I will probably mark down somewhat on that. And then with the présentation orale, so similar to rédaction, présentation orale, we're looking for a somewhat polished, I guess, presentation that's available to a public audience. So this is presentational speaking. I'm not in a conversation here. We have activities like that too, but this is I'm giving it out to a public at large. And so as you learn about Le Tour de France here, you're going to be presenting some information on it. And this is an activity where you're for sure going to be wanting to write parts of it out, but not writing the whole thing out and then reading it. That is not a speaking activity to me, because speaking is it's different than writing. It's different than reading your writing. It's actually speaking and formulating it on the spot. But nonetheless, since this activity is dealing with the chiffres or figures, and you're going to have to do some research, you're going to want to look up some stuff and then come and give me a presentation. Note that the length requirement of these always says parler pendant 2 à 3 minutes. So I really do want you to try to go for at least 2 minutes. Definitely not going to accept anything less than 1 minute. Okay, you definitely need to work up toward that 2 minutes. If you're not quite there, not a huge deal yet. But the more, you reap what you sow. The more that you really put effort into this whole awkward, like I'm trying to give this response on the spot thing now, the more it's going to pay off later as we get closer to the AEP exam and as you go on throughout the course. And more and more assignments are going to be more and more high stakes, as we go on from here. So hopefully this gives you some really helpful direction. Again, I will be grading your work according to the rubric for this unit. If you have any questions, just let me know. And as always, work is due Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m.